What is going on, everybody? That was an interesting way to end the half. Excited to get in here and talk about this before, obviously, what happened to Tua there. I mean, we got to start with this issue. Pretty rough, man. Like, everyone knew he had a concussion last Sunday. He was a stumble bunny getting off the field. I was shocked he was allowed to play the second half of last week. I'm shocked he got cleared by the NFL and the Dolphins today. And that was a brutal hit. I mean, just absolutely no way to protect himself. His head hits the ground, and obviously we all saw what happened from there.
There needs to be a league investigation into this whole situation. I think you were saying, even with Justin Herbert playing with the ribs, he didn't look good out there. These guys are getting cleared, and there has to be some protection. The amount of money these guys are making, I mean, as I have up on that script, there's so much other stuff we could talk about, but let's care about Tua. Hopefully he's healthy. Prayers for Tua. So that's what Aaron of the Racing Dudes has up there. Man, Tua. So, hopefully Tua is good and he gets back out there in like 4 to 6 weeks is like, the short-term thing. I just hope he makes it through the night too,
Yeah, I mean, before we it was just sickening to see how his hands were and to see the situation he was in. But it's just, I cannot believe the lack of institutional control that you want to put your superstar young quarterback on the field after one of these things, especially when you're sitting at 3-0, especially with Justin Herbert, in situations you do not need to be risking them. And it's institutional fail. The quarterbacks, Herbert specifically tried to get into the game. He's the reason he played. He should never be allowed to play. Have a team doctor say you cannot play. Protect, if nothing else, be selfish and protect your investment. And the fact that they had Tua come back in the second half last week and then play again on a Thursday night short week, just awful, man. Just brutal.
Yeah, some good comments in the chat. There already is a league investigation opened. I don't know what happened. I guess they can't get this figured out why he came back in on Sunday. That's the first thing. Why he even came back in, and then why he even played tonight on such a short turnaround. And we also got Rodney here. Dolphins is so bad. That was a concussion last week, and he got another concussion. I hope it's just a concussion. I've seen guys I don't even want to go down the path of talking about guys like Dennis Byrd and Mike Utley, but that was it, man. I watched both of those guys leave the field when I was a kid, and that's it, man. They don't move, and that's when they get paralyzed. So I swear to God, I hope he's not paralyzed. Usually it's more of a head-to-head collision when a guy gets paralyzed, but he got slammed down pretty hard there.
Yeah, the initial report essentially that he got taken to a trauma. He had extremity movement, so hopefully that's a good sign. He's at a Tier 1 trauma center in Cincinnati, so we'll see what happens here. But just a fail by the NFL and the Dolphins organization to allow him to play on this game. Just really, really bad. I mentioned I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm kind of embarrassed to be a Dolphins fan right now because he should not have been on the field in the second half last week. He should not have been on the field on Thursday night. We're going to wrap that up.
The powers that be should be ashamed.
Yeah.
He didn't look healthy at any point. So that's what Aaron's saying. But at the same time, let's talk about the game. Teddy Bridgewater is now the quarterback, so let's flip it like that. What do we talk about the second half in this game now?
Yeah, so everyone who hasn't been on the show before, real quick, we'll hit this up. We're going to talk about the second half line, what we like to do, where we think we're going. Slim's going to give out a couple props, and I'm going to give out my best bet for Sunday. We'll wrap it up. You guys can enjoy the second half of the game. We've done very well so far on these. We're 2-1 on the best, or no?
You're 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0 on the best bets. 2-1 on the second half bet, so we're crushing those. You gave out a couple nice prop winners last week.
Last week, Goff went over, and Khalil Herbert was the leading rusher in the NFL, and I gave him as the over for 24.5. So that was a good call. We had a couple good ones the last few weeks. We're getting going. We're getting started up now. Now we get more data as these games are played. We're in the fourth week. We have 3 data points to look at. Very important as we make our decisions going into week 4.
And this one's pretty easy for me. So they just released the second half line. Bengals -2, and the total is 23. I would lean the Bengals, but that last drive was kind of concerning, watching them be able to march directly down the field. The Bengals offense has actually looked pretty anemic, and the Dolphins game plan is now going to switch over to a much more of a rushing attack, trying to keep this game close, trying to keep essentially shorten the game as much as possible. It gives them the best chance to win as underdogs. So let's take second half under 23 as the bet here. for the show. So we're going second half under 23 as our best bet. I will scroll that across the bottom here. That's going to be what I'm going to play here in the second half. Slim, let's jump over to one of your props to kick this off. Really cool stat I saw. I don't know if you saw this. You know, Lamar Jackson is responsible for more touchdowns than every single team in the NFL except the Baltimore Ravens. He's gotten that team in the offense so many times, rushing and passing. He has outscored every other team from a touchdown perspective, and you're leaning on that this week. Tell us a little bit about why you like Lamar going over 1.5 touchdowns here.
I really want to talk to you about this plus 120 a little bit. Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns this week is plus 120. The under has been juiced to a negative 160. I don't know when you look at these things, but Lamar Jackson is leading the league in passing touchdowns with 10. He had 4 last week. Oh my God, I forget. He had 3, 4, I think. Yep. So I don't understand against the Bills why this is only a 1.5 for plus 120. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills over here. So I want to talk about that, but just a couple of stats. You know, Buffalo has a bunch of guys in the backfield, a bunch of rookies, second-year players. Jordan Poyer was limited in practice this week, so he might be back, but they're without Micah Hyde, the big-time safety back there. Their secondary is hurting. I think Lamar Jackson is going to take advantage of them. And with Mark Andrews scoring touchdowns at a pace right now, I think 1.5 in this high-scoring affair. And Ravens are giving up the most passing yards in the NFL, and they get Josh Allen. So this has shootout potential on it. So I think he's going to go over this 1.5 touchdowns passing.
Yeah, if they want to be able to stay in this game, he's going to have to. You mentioned Poyer. He's limited practice. They've got their starting safety, one of their 2 starting safeties out for the year. Currently, they have their 2 cornerbacks or 2 rookies, a 7th and a 3rd round draft pick. So pretty limited on the back end of this defense. They do like to play nickel, which should help a little bit, but their safeties were really how they're going to try and stop Mark Andrews. So Lamar Jackson should have a field. They should need to score points. So I think that's part of the key to this bet is that Buffalo should try and keep up, and that allows Lamar to keep passing into the 4th quarter, which gives him a much better chance of getting over 2 touchdowns through the air.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm hoping. The only thing, obviously he gets a lot of rushing touchdowns. So yeah, for some sake, he gets 2 rushing touchdowns, only passes for 1. That would really suck. But that's I feel like that's the only way I could get beat here.
I'm really interested in your other prop that you went to, because this is one of those guys where I don't know what to do with this team. We've seen Flacco quarterback this team. We're going to get Zach Wilson for the first time on the Jets side. Been really impressed with this rookie wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. You think he's going to get in the end zone this week? Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I'm a Jets fan. Everyone should know that. So this could be a homer bet. But if Zach Wilson can't get this guy the ball, then he really sucks. Flacco, the guy is like 50 years old, barely hanging on by a thread. And the Jets are the 3rd leading team in passing yards this year with Joe Flacco. And it's a lot to do with this guy. He is dominating. 6 for 60 last week. The week before that, he was called Justin Jefferson vibes by the cornerback for the Cleveland Browns, DJ Reed. He says he got Justin Jefferson vibes after having 2 touchdowns against Cleveland. Here he gets a similar team in my mind in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh on PFF, they have their cornerbacks are ranked 34th, 44th, 81st, and 87th. So they don't have a great passing defense. The Pittsburgh defense is, I have it over here, ranked pretty low. They're like 11th in the league in passing yards, and they've given up 5 touchdowns this year, and they've given up touchdowns last week to Amari Cooper. So they're not that great on wide receivers, and this guy's dominating in the red zone at Ohio State. This is a stat I'm going to use every time I bet on Garrett Wilson, probably for the rest of my life. He had 18 touchdowns in his last 19 games at Ohio State. So he averages a touchdown a game, basically. So I think he's going to get it done, and we're going to get the first Wilson to Wilson touchdown, and we're going to win money on it because that's what Jets fans do. They want to win money on their team. So this is a homer bet. It's a hunch play, but I think it makes sense.
My biggest concern, I don't see a lot of points being scored in this game. So you're only probably going to get 1, maybe 2 Jets touchdowns. And so you got to really hope that one of those goes to Wilson. However, I do think the Wilson to Wilson combo is going to be nice. Look, Zach Wilson, I think he sucks. I'll be straightforward with you. But He does throw the ball well when scrambling and moving out of the pocket. And I think Wilson's going to be the player he looks for, especially deep. Kind of tends to play toward what he did at BYU, which I think could kind of help Wilson get on the off the schneid quickly here from a touchdown perspective. Hopefully get one against Pittsburgh, especially since J.J. Watt left. They're a bottom 10 defense in the NFL. He made a massive difference there. And so his injury really affects them. He should be back in a few weeks. But until then, that pass rush is just not the same.
Very good point. Yep, T.J. Watt for sure.
All right, I'm going to head to my best bet. We're 3-0 this week with these best bets. So hopefully we can make it 4-0 here, start this season off hot. I'm going to go over to London, baby. We're going to ring Big Ben's bell, and we are going to take the Vikings. We're going to lay the 2.5 against the Saints. Here's why. Look, we saw Tua tonight. He was hurt coming into this. We knew that. He looked like he was hurt coming into this. If you've watched Jameis Winston play, the dude's hurt. He has a confirmed broken back. He's about to jump on an airplane for 8 hours to fly to London. He hasn't practiced in the last 2 days. You know who else hasn't practiced? Michael Thomas. You may have Andy Dalton throwing to Chris Olave as your number one combination there, with Kamara still not looking very good, a defense that is struggling, an offensive line that's not wonderful. This is just a shit sandwich that you're going to see out of this New Orleans team this week. On the other side, you have the Vikings who started to figure out that offense a little bit more. I realize Cook is banged up, but he was limited in practice today. And you know what? Cook to Madison is not that massive of a drop-off, especially when you want to attack this defense through the air from the New Orleans Saints side. I don't think this is going to be close. I think the Vikings are going to roll them right out of the stadium. I'm not sure how New Orleans is going to score. Taysom Hill is banged up as well. This is just a really bad spot for New Orleans, and it's a get-right spot for the Vikings. I wouldn't be shocked if New Orleans almost uses this as an additional bye week if this gets ugly quickly. I just don't see how they're going to be able to stick up with them. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'll lay the 2.5. I think the injuries get to the Saints. I think they're able to roll this week.
I love it. I love it. They are in bad shape, New Orleans. I'm very upset. I'm very worried about Kamara. I have him on one of my fantasy teams. I'm staying off of all bets with that team right now. So, yeah, I'm very worried about Jameis. And if Jameis gets out there, he does not look like himself. So that team is in trouble. Michael Thomas is always injured. They're always injured. They got 3 really big-time players, but all 3 of them are always injured. Jameis is always injured. Kamara is always injured, and Michael Thomas is always injured, and they're injured right now going across the pond. I love it.
It's brutal, man. I mean, it's not a good time for them to travel like this. They're in my mind, it's just not a game that's all that important to them. The Vikings want to win this. They want to win that division. They need to win games like this. We got 2 coaches that have never made this trek over to the UK before. By the way, Tottenham is a fast field, so tends to be an overfield. It's one of the faster soccer fields in the UK. That also plays toward the Vikings wide receivers, who Justin Jefferson should be able to consistently get open. Same with Thielen. Everything pushes me toward the Vikings this week. So hopefully we can make it 4-0 here on the best bets. Real quick to recap, we are about to move into the second half here. Our play, the second half, under 23. Lines moved. Cincinnati is now just a point favorite, which I think is awfully interesting as well. So we're back to that original -3 line for the total game. Slim's got a couple prop bets he's going to throw at you. Slim is going to play Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown for +230. He's going to Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns, +120. Love me that plus money, Slim. Good work. I'm going Vikings, best bet, -2.5. Slim, you got any parting words for us before we head into another NFL weekend?
Prayers up for Tua. Hopefully we get good news from him, about him tonight. So that's the most important thing. And check me out. I'll be back doing a live stream on the Racing Dudes channel with my man, Chris Adamo. Lamar solid. He loves the Lamar bet. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. It is the first live stream with Slim and Adamo. So check us out, all right? Enjoy the second half. We need Jamar Chase to get a long play. I knew the Dolphins were susceptible to a long play, and it went to T. Higgins. I'm so pissed off, and I got a man here. TL is saying, all right, we're going to follow TL. One more needed for my mix and reception prop. Should get there, all right? I was against the mix and prop, because I thought Samaje Perine gets too many catches, but my man JL might have a winner. So check us out. We love the player props. Have a great night, everyone.
Dale mentioned that on Dudes Who Bet Daily. We'll be back at noon tomorrow for more Dudes Who Bet Daily, best bets across the sports and the horse racing world. We'll see you on Saturday as well, 11 a.m. with that show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Enjoy the second half. I guess go Dolphins, but man, I'm still not very happy about this. Anyway, have a good second half, everybody. Make sure you check out Slim's live stream tomorrow. Make sure you're checking out Dudes Who Bet Daily. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. We'll be live all the time.